it's Joan. Today I'll be covering Sura 12 of the Heifer in the Korean, and it's verses 1 to 21. I'm going to start with a prayer that's in Korean, Sura 2, verse 286. Our Lord, impose not on us that which we have not the strength to bear. Grant us forgiveness and have mercy on us. You are our protector. Help us against those who deny truth. So the title of this section is Joseph or Yusef. And in summary, it's about sibling rivalry or being favored, unique circumstances, ones that are different from most people, also enslavement and how to handle it. Just trying to figure out why this section is in the book and how it can help everybody. I'm guessing it's kind of common, but Joseph is one of 12 sons of Jacob, and it is the blending of Muslims and Jewish people in one family, an interracial story. So in verse 9, it says that his brothers plotted to kill him because he was given a birthright and a cloak of many colors, and they just, I guess, were jealous. They plotted to do it, and then in verse 18, they reported him gone, and in verse 19, he was found at the bottom of a well by Midianites. So I looked that up. It said other Jewish people, that Jacob and his son were both Jewish. In verse 20, it says that he was somehow sold into slavery, and he ended up working for Pharaoh. Then I thought I'd cover why is there so often conflict when someone's exterior, their shell, is different from another person, or their inside belief system, why it causes conflict. And how I have a story that's similar. I really did go through slavery, and it was about 2013, happened in Georgia. But as a child, I was given a gift, and I remember my sister, she was older, she was in the room with my mom when it was given to me, and I remember she wanted a gift, but my mom explained to her that it was just for me, and I know that that's hard to do because I went through a Christmas, I was changing from Christianity to another faith, and behind me there was someone that got 3 Christmas gifts, and I don't know, you feel left out. But on my birth certificate, I saw it, instead of saying that I was the child of Betty and Carl, it said I was the Christian, that they were the Christian parents of me, and that I wanted to mention, before the slavery happened, I had just changed to becoming a Jewish person in the Reformed community. I went to Valdosta, Georgia, and that's where it happened. My car had broken down. People had withheld employment. I had run out of the ability to pay to fix the car that I was in. I had to be towed to a property, and it was the start of living in emergency housing, which I had never done before in my life. It was at New Horizons, and the address was 714 Charlton Street. It was really a tough time. And to this day, I don't know who to report it to or how to get compensated for it, but there were at least 80 people in the residential housing, and what I had to do every day for 3 months was to cook a warm meal. I did work with another person who was Muslim, and a black lady came into the kitchen. I didn't know. Usually, that's not a problem, but they started to hassle me, and anyway, we fast, that there was no dishwasher. Then after that, they told me to sweep a large area. I'm guessing it was about 1,500 feet, maybe the size of Bagel here in Tallahassee, Florida. And after mopping, that was it. But it's a lot of work, even if it doesn't sound like it. It was tough to do, and there were supposed to be 2 other people helping me, but one had a broken arm, and the other one kept saying they had an appointment, so it seemed like I was left to do most of it by myself. So I was going to cover Jewish people being enslaved also, but how do you permanently fix injustice like that? And then I thought, well, if you don't have the answer, one of the ways, there's this writing I found as to just show love. This writing says the first sign of faith is love. The message of the holy manifestation is love. The phenomena of creation is love. The radiance of the world is love. Well-being and happiness of the world depend on it. We must strive throughout the human world to give the light of love. And the people of this world think of warfare, but we must be peacemakers. So we should show kindness to all nations and races, and that should be our future. But I did want to also cover some about Pharaoh. I was just curious. The Pharaoh that they mentioned as being arrogant, this was in Egypt in the 6th century, 3,000 years ago. They used to, the king at the time really didn't believe in God, and he ordered enslavement of the Jewish people to build new treasure cities. And it said that the Torah and the Quran pretty much have similar information on it, yet researchers, when they try to find scientific artifacts, can't find either Moses' name on anything or artifacts that contain mention of plagues, of Pharaoh, or of an army in the Red Sea. But they speculate that Pharaoh's name was Ramses II, who ordered it, and it said that Moses ended up killing the Pharaoh. And I'm always surprised when I read or see that someone saw it as an option, that what I went through was outrageous injustice, but for me to think about killing someone, I'm just a different type of person. Anyway, it said in Exodus 2:23 that he did kill him, and it said in this section that he was probably replaced by his son with the same name, that the Pharaoh reigned 67 years. I mean, it listed dates 1279 to 1213 BC, and that Moses was picked up as a baby, found in a river, and the family raised him. Moses lived 40 years with Pharaoh, and then he watched 2 men fighting one day that were different races. Moses struck and killed a man, and that's in Exodus 28, verses 14 to 15. Moses then escaped to Midian. He married and worked there 8 years for the sheik, and then he returned to Pharaoh and challenged him. So that's in Exodus 28, verse 27. Pharaoh said, this is how they make the statements they do about his rulership, that he was, quote, saying, I am your ruler, the Most High. I have not known you to have a God, just me. That's in Exodus 79, verse 24, and 28, verse 38. It goes on to say that he erected huge monuments around Egypt, which is the capital of Egypt now, had exalted himself, and that no other king left that many or the size of them. Entombed in the Valley of the Kings is where that's believed to be now the west bank of the Nile, opposite the city of Luxor. He built 2 temples, and he asked a man to build him a tower that reached to heaven to look at the God of Moses, and said, I think him to be a liar. That's in Exodus 40, verses 36 to 37. And then there's also that story about how Egypt didn't believe in God, and Jewish people did. They said, well, please show us your God. So they ended up making it a rescuer that valued life. And that's in Ezra of the Old Testament. This